Today, we're talking about a government watchdog in Pakistan, the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, or PPRA for short. Now, its job is super important, but as we're about to find out, it's also pretty complicated. So let's get right into it.
Have you ever really stopped to think about how a government buys stuff? I mean, everything from, giant infrastructure projects like bridges, all the way down to the pens on a government worker's desk. It's this massive, massive operation, right? And the key thing to remember is it's all funded with our money, with taxpayer money.
So there's a name for this whole process. It's called public procurement. And a simple way to think about it is like the government's official shopping list. But it's not like your grocery list, right? This one comes with a super strict rule book. And that rule book is all about one thing, really, making sure all that spending is fair, it's competitive, and most importantly, that it's transparent.
And that's where our main subject for today comes in. See, in Pakistan, they created a specific organization whose whole job is to be the official watchdog for this entire process.
And that organization is the Public Procurement Regulatory Authority, or as we'll call it, the PPRA. Now, it's set up to be an autonomous body, which is just a fancy way of saying it's supposed to operate independently without outside influence. Its core mission, to write the rules for all that government shopping, and then, and this is key, to monitor everybody to make sure they're actually following those rules.
And this isn't some new agency, by the way. The PPRA was set up way back in 2002. So yeah, it's been overseeing Pakistan's public procurement for, well, more than 2 decades now. Okay, so how does this thing actually work? What does the PPRA do on a day-to-day basis? Let's break down its structure and its duties to really get a feel for how this watchdog operates.
At its heart, the PPRA's job is all about one thing: openness. So they don't just sit in an office and write rules. No, they're supposed to be actively monitoring what government agencies are doing. They publish all the official tender invitations online so you and I can see them. They even create standard bidding documents. And look, this isn't just about red tape. The whole point is to level the playing field, to make the bidding process fair for any company that wants to participate. And when that happens, you get better services and, hopefully, less wasted money.
So who's in charge? Who's running this whole show? Well, that would be the PPRA board. And if you look at who's on it, it's a really interesting mix. You've got 6 members who are appointed from different government ministries. But then you've also got 3 private members, people from outside the government. And then there's the managing director. The whole idea here is to get a blend of perspectives, right? Both from inside the government and from the private sector.
Okay, but here is where our story takes a really interesting turn. Because what happens when the very organization that was created to guarantee transparency gets accused of not being transparent itself?
So let's just reset for a second. Remember the whole reason the PPRA exists. Its mission is to make sure public spending is fair and open. That's its entire purpose. Just keep that in the back of your mind. And then, bam! In 2019, this headline hits. The PPRA, the watchdog itself, was accused of making over 30 appointments that were described as illegal. Now, for a national regulator, an accusation like that is incredibly serious.
And it wasn't just a general complaint. The number they cited was 32. 32 internal appointments, their own hiring, were officially flagged as being problematic. So you see, this wasn't just some vague rumor floating around. This was a specific allegation with a very specific number attached to it. And get this wasn't just something cooked up by the media. These objections came from another major government player, the Office of the Auditor General of Pakistan. I mean, that's a pretty big deal. When the Auditor General raises a red flag, it gives the whole thing a ton of official weight.
So if we lay it all out on a timeline, you can really see the story unfold. It starts in 2002. The PPRA is born with this noble mission of ensuring transparency. Fast forward 17 years to 2019, and boom, it's facing accusations of the very thing it was created to fight. And then, interestingly, in a couple of years after that, we see its rules get officially amended by the government.
This whole episode, it kind of forces us to ask a much bigger, more fundamental question about accountability. Why is it that sometimes the watchdogs themselves need watching?
And really, this is the core tension right here, laid out plain and simple. On the one hand, you have the PPRA's mandate. Their job is to enforce transparency for every single public sector organization. But on the other hand, you have this accusation that it couldn't even apply those same principles to its own internal hiring.
And that leaves us with a question that's at the very heart of good governance, not just in Pakistan, but everywhere. Think about it. If the referee gets accused of cheating,
Who referees the referee? Who holds them accountable? It's a huge, fundamental challenge for any system that relies on oversight. So, what do you think the answer